Hey, what's up, guys? So we live right now. This is RoofsByDon, and we're at the Roof Gallery 420 edition. We're helping roofers go green. So right now we're with the one and only Jacob Fuchs in the building.
Hey.
And with the last name, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay. So there's actually 3 ways to do it. It's pretty funny, and none of the 3 is actually wrong. It really depends on where you're from.
Okay.
So it's un-Americanized. So my family's originally from Hungary. And in Germany and those languages, they would say a Fuchs, and we would spell it Fuchs as the fox. So it's un-Americanized, so it's just Fox. So if you Google my last name, all you'll see is the animal, but you could say Fuchs, and Fox.
Got you. Fuchs, Fuchs, and Fox.
That's how it goes.
Got it. It sounds good. Okay, now as far as our listeners, we've been following each other on social media. We've seen each other as far as in the streets in Atlanta.
Absolutely.
We're in the same territory. Let them know about you. What I'll let them know first is he's a sales beast. He kills it as far as with sales. I think you said this year you're around $7 million.
We're shooting high this year. We're shooting really high.
We're only in April, you know, and he's a one man. He's doing it himself. He didn't say the company's doing that much. He said that's what he's doing. So just give us a quick rundown on yourself.
Well, absolutely, man. I think we're in my 5th year, but I grew up my whole life in sales, and I always make the joke. I was born from a door-to-door salesman, and my dad used me as free labor growing up, and he was smart with it. You know, I grew up in a Jewish home, so if you didn't have a job by the age of 10, you were kind of kicked out of the house. You had to learn to walk the streets, and I'll never forget when my dad kicked me out the first time. He said, "Hey, take your shirt off because I bought that too." It was hard. You had these principles. Like I probably was being arrogant at 13 years old at the time.
He kicked you out at 13?
Absolutely. He loved to teach us a good lesson. Okay. And trust me, I'm not scarred from it. He is a great father. But he was instilling disciplines in us. And he literally took me to work every single day. He had a business phone and he gave me the personal one. And he would say, "Hey, I want you to pound these many doors. And if someone's interested," and at that time we were selling cable internet, and a home phone. That was back when everyone had home phones.
Yep.
And he was like, "And if anyone's interested in the package, you call my phone, I'll walk over and help close the deal for you." And so at a young age, I learned that. And when I was eligible enough at a certain age, I worked corporately for Comcast, became their #1 salesman in the country. And I handled one of their Knoxville offices. They came back to launch Home Security, which is Xfinity Home for Atlanta. From there, I got into construction, and from construction, it led into roofing. It's crazy.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
So you for Comcast, you said you were the #1 in the country.
#1 in the country.
That's fine.
I still have a VP letter from the president of Comcast, and he congratulated me at being their top sales guy in the U.S.
That's
and
fire.
It was crazy to see that. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's big. Okay. So that's why you're a sales beast.
I love it.
So as far as for roofing, just for people out there. Do you really have to be a roofer, or do you have to be a good salesperson? Roofing is a product.
The best thing to be when it comes to sales is being able to be a social butterfly. If you're an outgoing personality, people are attracted to people who have high energy, and people naturally want to be around those types of people. And if you look at your top sales guys in the industry, they're usually high energy. Why does the roofing industry have so many influencers? It takes high energy to do that. And me being an outgoing personality, loves to talk to anybody and everyone. I love social events. I love socializing with people. And it's what we call the gift of gab.
Yep.
And when you have the gift of gab, it just comes out in everyday speech. So people learn, "Oh man, he's a roofer." If you're going somewhere, why should somebody not know what you do?
Exactly.
People should know you as that guy. Like tonight, I'm going to take my family to the Braves game, and I guarantee you it happens every time we go. "Oh, you're that roof guy." They don't even know my name. I'm just the roof guy. I'm the roof guy. And so it's just a crazy small world how that works out. But I don't mind that. If I'm walking around Atlanta, "Oh, you're the roof guy." And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And, as long as you're talking about that everywhere you go, it becomes contagious. People begin to learn it. And it's really what brings you the most success. You got to be loud in life. You got to be loud on social media. You got to be loud with your customers. And you got to be loud on those gestures. It's just, got to sell them as much as you sell the client.
I like it. Especially with 420, you got to be loud.
Oh, we're going to get loud today.
All right, cool. As far as for people getting into the industry, again, just because we got a lot of new people in the roofing industry. What would you say is a tip to get them to get their first $1 million in sales for the year?
Honestly, there's something there's also an age group that I got to speak to. And here's the crazy thing. How old are you, Don?
Yeah, I'm 36.
Okay, so you still came from the Facebook world. I'm thinking that you're still like in your 20s because you hire a 20-year-old today. They're like, I don't have Facebook. And I'm like, you're crazy. And here's why I think Facebook is so important for getting your sales up, okay? It's the only platform. Now, if you go on Twitter, okay, you can't pinpoint people that live in a certain area. You can't do that on Instagram. The only way you do it on Instagram is follow pages. Let's say you follow, Bobby's Barbecue.
George's Roofer.
Yeah, whatever. And you're going to find people who follow that page obviously live in the area. But on Facebook, you can actually build a community of things that belong to that specific city or that specific interest group. Facebook and LinkedIn are literally the only two things that allow you to have that happen. So I always tell them, hey, man, you want to get people to call you. You want your phone to blow up. Because if you're door knocking, it takes years to get your phone to bring off the hook. If you're jumping into the industry, you got to get as many people to hear about you as possible. And you also want to work in an area where people have money who can write a check. One of the benefits of where I live is my homeowners can simply, if it's not insurance, can write me a check. If I say, hey, your roof is, what's the average in Georgia, $17,000 for a roof? Yeah. They just write $17,000 check. And that's easy. Or you'll be able to get them financed. And I pinpoint the communities I want to work in. So I'd say if you're coming into the industry, number one, follow top producers. Don't believe the hype. Not everyone is as legitimate as they want to be. Some people would rather I love this phrase from Drake. He goes, some people got more followers than dollars, and that's why I cannot relate. Is what he says in that line. I'm like, don't follow the people who just got followers. Follow people who are actually putting in work, that put that work in. See what they do, share their content, and that's the thing. Be the 1%er who will actually do it. We tell our guys every day, post on social media. What percentage of them do it? 1%? People just don't take, the opportunity to do so.
They spectate. They don't actually be in the game.
Absolutely.
Yep. 100%. I like that. I like that a lot. I have a question. So as far as for retail, so we know that you get a lot of jobs. We know you like to be 5 mile radius famous.
Yes.
Well, we know that. Well, I know that. So tell them about the 5 mile radius famous first.
All right. So what I believe in is what we call 5 mile famous. Man, I love the phrase. I'll tell you what, it's so important to me. I actually will have my tailor, if he makes me a suit, he stitches it into the back of the collar. It says 5 mile famous. And you'd have to flip it up to even know it was there, but it's there because I see so many people trying to jump all over the board. And people always ask me all the time, hey, Jacob, you go and chase that storm. I mean, someone here today said, you chase that storm in Stockbridge. I'm like, I actually don't have time to go storm chase because by the time my phone blows up through the day, it's people within my 5 mile radius. So what I do is where I work, I want every major restaurant owner to know who I am. I want every realtor that lives in that specific area to know who I am. I want the homeowners to see me every single day. Because how frustrating would it be to go, oh, I got one in Ackworth at 8 a.m., one in Macon at 2 p.m. You just spent 3 hours of your day driving when you could have got sales for those 3 hours straight. My average appointment is 1.5 miles from the next most of the time. Literally, one appointment, next appointment, literally 2 minutes apart each time. And that's a full day's worth of work. Now, I get an advantage that most people don't have because I chose to stay put. And people who are chasing opportunity are not making opportunity. And there's a difference. You can chase opportunity or you can make the opportunities. And my goal is to make them. And if you stay where you want to be, people recognize your name more. People are never going to memorize you when you're all over the map. Or they're going to need you and you can't show up. Well, hey, Jacob, a branch just hit my roof. What can we do? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in Macon. Give me 3 hours. They're going to call another roofer by that time. Yep. You want to be the main guy. Yes, they may get a storm and you may see that roofer get a big, juicy check. But once that storm's gone, they're empty-handed again. And you are constantly being fed. Your table's always full. That's why I think it's important to work your area and do what we call 5 mile famous. Yeah.
I love that. So I need y'all to take a note from his book. Get that 5 mile radius famous. Make sure you 5 mile radius famous in your area.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, back to the retail now, because I kind of felt like being 5 mile radius famous helps with that.
Absolutely, it does. So when
retail.
people recognize your name so much, it builds a trust factor. Okay. So I will have people go, I'll get messages on Facebook or I'll get a phone call. Hey, Jacob, I've known your name in the community for a long time. Didn't think I was actually going to need a roof, but here, can you come by? When you're 5 mile famous and everyone knows you as that guy, you take bids off the table. People just know that you're trusted. The reason people get bids is because they haven't built trust yet. They trust me before I walk in that door. All their neighbors have used me. So the moment I say, hey, look, it's $17,000 for your roof, they're simply writing the check for $17,000. They even tell me, I'm not getting another bid. And I make sure they know they don't have to. Like, it's going to be the same. It's going to be on the same trust factor. I charge the same amount per square everywhere I'm at. And everyone knows that. I'm like, hey, look, if something's intricate or different on your roof, we have to make adjustments for that. But when you're 5 Mile famous, people don't have to look you up. They know everything they need to know. And so, like, let's name any famous person in our mind. We don't have, if we call, I'm just going to make up a ridiculous scenario here. If we know who LeBron James is and we're setting up a basketball game, we don't have to ask any questions. That's just LeBron James.
Yeah.
You know that he's going to take the ball to the basket every single time. You got to be that for your area. You were mentioning that name earlier in the room. You've got to be the LeBron James of the industry.
Exactly.
You want to be that everywhere you are, where people recognize you, can trust the name, and know who you are, and know that you're going to take that ball to the basket every single time. It builds that trust. It's so important. And that's why I would say that I'd say anywhere from 60 to 70% of the deals I close are retail.
Yeah. Nice. And that's big, especially because a lot of people do insurance claims, you know.
It's huge.
And that's how they make their money. People don't do retail at all, a lot of people.
They're scared to. They don't know how to.
Exactly.
How many roofers will go, and the homeowner goes, can you write me a bid? And they're duh. They don't know what to do.
They don't know how.
They're completely clueless. And I'm like, dude, it's super easy. And why are you missing those opportunities? Why don't you do repairs?
Yep.
And here's the thing that people miss. The repairs are big money. If I did a repair for Bob and a roof replacement for Susie, both Bob and Susie can recommend me for a roof. He's not going to just recommend me for repairs. Someone's going to ask for a roofer. He's going to say my name.
Exactly.
That's another word of mouth that people avoid. So I would say out of the whole year that goes by, 150 of my jobs will be repairs. That's 150 people that can recommend me for a roof replacement.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's nice. So we're going to keep it short and sweet at the Roof Guy 420. We got the 5 Mile Radius famous man right here. We got Jacob Fuchs in the building. And at the end of the day, make sure that you guys follow. Give him the social media.
Awesome, man. You can look me up on Instagram. It's JFUCHS91. Facebook, you just look me up, Jacob, Fuchs, last name. You'll see a picture of me holding up my daughter. There was an old profile I lost the password to, so don't get it confused. And you can follow that page, guys. I post content all the time. Feel free to follow, and I'm always going to answer any questions and advice that y'all want. I'm happy to help you. I don't discriminate against roofing companies. If you have a battle with State Farm or Allstate, let me know. We'll work through it. We'll tell you guys how to get it to the finish line.
Hey. And at the end of the day, Jacob was big dog today. We had an auction at the Roof Gallery, and he got almost everything. So, so thank you again.
Of course,
we really
man.
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It's a wrap.